for them.
Lights on, mic check, game time, let's go. Jay George, Scotty running the show. Rock on the mix, keeping it tight. NFL talk every day, every night. From the turf to the booth, we break it all down. The Vault Studio, the best show in town. Best show in town, best show in town. Lights on, mic check, game time, let's go. Jay George, Scotty running the show. Rock on the mix, keeping it tight on NFL talk every day. Every talk every day.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Vault Studio NFL podcast. I'm one of your hosts, JA. I'm joined by a plethora of champions in here. Starting to the left of me, I've got Georgie Porgy Pudding and Pie.
Hey.
Kiss the boys, I made them cry.
Wow, that's a fucking intro off the top.
This is a real on-the-fly intro. I like
Yeah,
it.
it's on the fly. I got Scotty over there.
I've been called that
Got
since about grade 4. Thank you, man.
Scotty is soon to be a homeowner, Scotty.
Shout out to
Let's
Scotty.
get that in the down
We'll
low.
have to do a away podcast soon for Scotty.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, on the road. I'm better on the road, actually. I'm like Halliburton.
Hey,
Ooh, that's
Better on
good.
the road.
Yeah.
what about our resident lady killer?
And
over
then
there?
our resident lady killer who has
He's just been putting
Rocky on the ones and twos.
He's been
got
putting
his,
in that work.
He's
Because a little
got his new
Zimbabwe
boom arm
for
with
him.
his mic on it.
He's
he's,
floating. He's
he's
floating on
step.
air, this boy.
He normally like walks in the room. You hear every
Oh,
footstep.
boy.
He glided. The door didn't even open. He just came. He's levitated through the
Levitated.
door
Just phase through.
like Jesus.
Yep.
Like LeBron James in Game 7.
Oh, wow.
You know? Just looked outstanding.
He's got the hair for it. He could be
He is.
Jesus.
He's got a very thick hairline, which we didn't have to bring up this early in the podcast to make me sad. But welcome to Brocky Boy. How
Shout-
about Brocky?
shout-
Tell us about your new boom arm. What do you reckon?
I'm very, very comfortable here.
Jay, done a good job.
Hey, he's all right.
Adequate.
He's all right.
Adequate.
Still a shit mic, so if I'm too loud, I'm sorry, everyone else.
Most of your performances in this house are just adequate. Let's be
Adequate.
fair.
I would
Just
I would
enough.
say adequate.
Just enough.
Just enough to get the job.
I would say adequate would be a bit overselling.
Yeah, it's a
the,
compliment.
The delivery I give in this
Fantastic.
household in every facet of the
Hey,
game.
I'll tell you what. I'm glad we're fucking in the off season because this is off the rails already.
Mate, well, so
That's
last week we had some surprise, like a few good news notes came through.
Yeah.
This week,
It's been very, very barren.
nothing. OTAs have started, which looked good.
Yeah. We'll have a
Travis
bit more of
Hunter
a
got married.
wrap up.
Yeah, we'll do some OTA stuff next
Yeah.
week. Travis Hunter got married.
Huge mistake.
Yeah. That's the
No-
wedding present.
No prenup as well.
G-Wagon.
I still don't get it. Why do we hate his missus?
We don't.
No, I just hate.
Oh, she a hoe.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
For sure.
Oh, no. Because in college, she was in everyone's DMs.
okay.
And then he
He-
kept her. Now he's married her. And now he's making more money. And there's no prenup. And
She was also
I
at a
can't say
party,
that's-
and he was outside in the car waiting for her to be finished at the party before taking her home.
Oh, and I'm assuming finished means she wasn't just having a drink.
She was getting them cheeks clapped.
Yeah, right. Poor Hunter.
Hey, we've all been there. A chick we like is inside getting clapped while
No.
we're waiting in the car to drive her home.
No.
We've all been there.
Yeah, no, we definitely
No.
all have.
Some
You're
more
right.
than others.
You're right. All right, someone's going to turn George's mic off. We'll be cutting podcast again.
I'm still pissed about that, by the way.
One day we'll release the uncut version of
No.
George's top 5.
You know what?
We're going to fight after this.
25
One day.
patrons will release it.
Yeah. No, make it 1,000
Nah, 50. 50. I'll meet you in the middle of 50.
because it'll be the last bit of money. This
All
podcast will
right,
ever make.
relax. What did I say, man? Take it easy.
You know what you said.
I know
In
exactly
fairness,
what
I
wrote it.
I did post your clip with your shirt off and didn't got the least likes and views of any clip in that. Which tells us that our algorithm is wrong because there's not enough women in our algorithm.
Yeah, that's right.
No, let's.
We don't have any women listens, let's be honest.
I don't think I'm sure we do. I'm sure.
Shout out if they are.
If there's any female listeners, hit me up.
Uh,
Not for that, just to let me know that you exist.
oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, that's all.
George's wife just messaged him. What do you mean?
Just to let me know that you actually exist, that we're not just like talking nonsense here. Although
No,
that's
no,
all we
no.
do here.
No, that is we do talk nonsense. Let's get into
Hey, Jim
it.
Irsay, what happened?
Yeah, so Jim Irsay passed away this week.
Oh, sad.
Yeah, it is sad.
Yeah.
He's a really good owner.
He was, yeah.
It's kind of the end of an era for the Colts. I think you said it perfectly before, Scotty. You felt like the Mark Saban. Is it Mark Saban?
Mark
No,
Cuban.
Mark
I'm like
Mark
that.
Cuban, sorry.
Yeah.
Um,
Just a player's owner.
yeah, all the players loved
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
He had some issues with alcoholism and stuff like that, which is sad. But
Yeah.
he seemed to get it in check the last few years. But he was-
Writing was probably on the
how
wall.
how old was he?
65, I think.
It's very young.
That's not-
He was 65, yes.
65, when you've got that kind of money for the best treatments and the best,
Yeah.
state of the art everything, that's you expect to live a little bit longer.
Yeah,
Sure.
it's very sad.
I'm sure the
Um,
Bengals fans are sort of hoping that,
They can own it with a bit of money.
yeah.
But no, yeah, very, very sad. Actually, can we just update on the Bengals stuff?
Oh yeah, it
Because
is.
their
They-
first round pick still hasn't signed, and they are
Wow.
basically forcing down his throat that he has to sign this contract, and he's just saying no. And the media are now really turning on the Bengals, the media world, fairly, because they're writing in it. It's not like any other NFL team. They're
Mm.
the only team that has this writing, and it's only for this one player, which is bizarre.
And the second round pick as
And
well.
the second round pick,
Yeah.
the first and second round pick. So
Why?
I don't know. I don't know what
What's
their
the
game is.
rationale behind
If
that?
you draft a guy in the first round, your number one goal should be getting him on the park for as much as you can.
Yeah, you want to show
train-
off your new toy.
Yeah, 100%. You want
Get
the
the
fans
vibes
to know.
up. Yeah.
It's just a really. It might end up not mattering. Like they might get it sorted out and it won't matter. But it's just a really ominous start for a new season for the Bengals, and it's making me nervous. Is this just what the Bengals going to be like this year? Is this thing's not going to go
It
their
just seems
way?
so unnecessary too.
Yeah.
I just don't get the whole point of it.
I feel like the Bengals, this might be their most important year.
It's.
I think
very
this is a make or break year for the Bengals, and they've really just started
In what way, Scott? What do you mean by that?
Well, they had Chase under contract, like on a rookie contract. They paid, whatever for T Higgins,
Mm.
and they're paying Burrow. Now it's all come out. Like now that they've got to pay for all them.
Mm.
Like
Yeah.
Mm.
they're not free. They're not cheap.
No, they're not cheap.
And they haven't really invested smartly in their defense, so they need any horse they've got in the stable, and now they're just
Mm.
shipping them out of town.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that also, like the AFC is just a gauntlet, like we've said. And it's sort of like your last chance to get it right before you're really just not a premier contender.
And their division is like the Ravens obviously a buttoned up, talented team,
Yeah.
buttoned up except for when guys are getting rub and tugs. But
Yeah.
they did the right thing and got rid of old Tugger.
We hit that for a while.
You hit it for a while. But they're a pretty good run organization. They're a good team, very
Yeah.
talented. They're
Probably top 2 roster, top 3 roster.
yeah, and they're the front runner for that division. And then Pittsburgh are no slumps. I don't think they're that talented, but they're good.
Yeah.
And they're physical and they're going to play hard.
Especially
they're
if
well
they get
ran.
Cousins or Rogers, like they're going to be
100%.
right
they're,
up there, man.
They're a well-run team, and then the Browns are kind of a crapshoot every year. If the Browns can just get the quarterback position right, when they did the years they've got it right. So with Baker a few years ago, and then Flacco down the stretch a couple of years
Yeah.
ago,
Playoff contender.
yeah, when they get it right, they make the playoffs and they win playoff games. So
Still got a very stout defense, even if it's not ranked inside the top 10. Any given day, that could be the best defense.
absolutely. So
The Browns,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think the Bengals, I think you're right, Scotty. The Bengals are in a real make or break season for
Yeah.
them. If this doesn't work out, one, the fans are going to turn. They've got 3 players in Higgins, Chase, and Burrow who are the highest paid players ever in a 3-player,
Yes.
salary. It's
Right,
the highest
yeah.
ever in the history of the NFL.
That's going to change every year, though.
but no one's
when
ever
salary
invested
cuts.
so much money in 3 players on offense.
No,
Ever.
but that will change when the cap goes up and
Yeah.
like Dak's getting paid 60
It will,
million
it will. But
CD,
I
and
think
then-
the point is just they're still paying that money, so it's
Yes.
got to fucking work.
But I also think the angle as well, if they're a 8-win team this year, I don't think Burrow's hanging around.
He certainly
Yeah.
won't be happy. And then, I don't think Jamar Chase will be that happy either. He doesn't seem like the sort of guy that just they both come from winning college programs. I don't think they want to sign up to be a crap team for
Boys,
15
play
years.
this out with me for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Imagine at the end of this upcoming season, they're 7-10.
Yeah.
And Joe Burrow walks into the front office and goes, "I want to fucking trade."
Oh,
it
How
would
many
lit-
years he got left in his contract?
The-
He's got 2 years left. I reckon that's prime trade movement.
The entire NFL would explode if that happened.
there would be teams that have quarterbacks they're comfortable and happy with that'd be like, we will flick you aside for nothing. Rocky?
Joe Burrow has another 4 years on his contract.
4. Yeah.
Yep.
So maybe not this offseason, next offseason.
They do. I'm just looking at their schedule now. They've got a real sort of tough mid schedule. So week 13 in Baltimore prime time. Then they go to
They don't
Buffalo.
play anyone before week 13.
They play week 4 or week 3. They play Vikings, then Denver, then Detroit, then Packers.
Shit, that's a tough month.
And then, Buffalo week 14, and then they go back home to play the Baltimore Ravens again. Then got Dolphins, Cardinals, Browns for the last 3 weeks of the year.
Yeah, probably pick up 2 to 3 wins there.
Yeah. So it's certainly, I think the cards are still, I like the Bengals. I like Joe Burrow. I don't hate what they've done. I think keeping those players, they should have done it 2 years ago, and they should have signed Higgins 2 years ago to
No,
waddle money.
I hate that they did it so late.
Yeah, they
It's
stuffed that up,
dumb.
but they're in it now. They've got to make it work. I guess you just hope that those three stay healthy and the defense finds some guys, they've got to bring Hendrickson back. They have to, but
Well,
I feel like the
that's a
relationship's
one-way
done.
ticket. Yeah.
I think no matter, even if they offer him the money he wants now, I don't think he'll go back.
No, I think it's the disrespect that it's taken this long.
Yeah.
I think the Bengals were probably the darling team 3 to 4 years ago. They had the foundations there of a very, very very good team, and now that foundation's just cracked. And
Yeah.
it's
Poor
like, once you
ownership and
piss
they
off-
fucked it. Yeah.
once you piss off one of these premier quarterbacks, like we're in a player movement in sports. You see it in NBA. You've seen it now, like Myles Garrett and all these other teams that come out. They use the media. They use their agent. They have all the tools now to back the team into a corner. It's just a matter of time before one of these players use that ammo and demand a trade.
Yeah.
Because we haven't really seen it. Like Peyton Manning was probably the biggest free agent we've seen.
Yeah, I'd say so. And he was only a free agent because of
an
his
injury.
injuries.
Yeah.
Maybe Brady.
Brady was a pretty big free agent.
Brady
Yes.
was big.
Yeah,
Those
yeah,
two.
yeah.
But then you've got to think like the reason the Colts were so comfortable walking away from Manning at that point
Well, they were going to
was
get
his injury, and they had luck. And
Well, they were going to be bad enough to get that
Yeah,
one pick for
and
luck.
yeah, like I've argued, I think it was 2014 when Peyton Manning
2000.
missed the whole year.
No,
Maybe a
it
little bit
would've
early,
been,
13.
11 or 10.
Yeah, whatever it was. Manning should have been the MVP that year because they had the exact same team.
Yeah.
And they went from 13-3 or whatever it was to
Yeah.
1-15.
Yeah, yeah.
He should have been. They should have just gone, here's your MVP trophy, Peyton.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
he was holding that team together. But you're right. It was
Yeah.
easy for them to walk away because everyone knew Luck was going to be a superstar.
Yeah.
He was one of the biggest layups in draft history. Like
Yeah.
he just was, and he ended up being that guy. And it was unfortunate for them what happened with him, and that's a whole different.
It's not
story.
unfortunate. They did it to themselves by not fucking getting an O line right.
Well, they also didn't like. He could have easily played longer. He just lost the. He just lost the.
Yeah, because
drive
he
for
kept
it.
getting the fucking shit beat out of him, bro.
100%.
Yeah.
But,
You do that for 9 years and then see if you want to do it anymore.
but then the
And you're rich on top.
and he's now the
GM.
Football operations manager for,
At
Stanford.
Have you seen him at training camp
Yeah,
for Stanford? He's
yeah.
throwing balls, showing
No, I
quarterbacks how to
haven't.
Yeah,
hand
I haven't, but
off.
that'd be so
Yeah.
sick.
Mate, can you imagine Andrew Luck just coming at me like, "Oh, I'll show you guys how to do it."
That would actually make that a destination school. Like,
Yeah.
for guys
Like,
to go play
I'm
quarterback.
the legend of this college. I'm a legend in the NFL, and I'm now here.
Yeah.
Just one of the boys showing you how it's done, throwing balls around. Like,
Yeah.
and he looks like I saw a few throws. He certainly looks like he could zip it. He
Yeah,
can
100%
zip
he
it.
can
still.
zip it.
So,
100%.
But the Bengals, I think it's
This
real cagey, real
Mm.
cagey.
I've said this
feeling.
before on this podcast, and I'll say it one more time. This is symptomatic of shit ownership.
Yep.
Simple.
Yeah,
as
it
that.
is.
Yep.
Yep.
No, very fair. All right, I've got a fun game for us this
Ooh.
week because that's it. That's the news. A game we used to play a long time ago. It's called Would You Rather.
Ooh.
So what I'll do is I'll give
When
you
you say like you played it in school,
Like in primary school? or something
no,
like that?
in the back in the podcast days with Jules and DJ and Richie, and it was hard because DJ would get drunk and then start like wrestling Jules, and it was hard to get through a game. But I brought it back. Shout out to Jules, DJ, and Richie. So would you rather? I basically get two players, two coaches, two situations, whatever you want to say it, and I say what would you prefer out of these two
Yeah.
guys?
let's go.
And I've got an interesting one. The 1st
We've
one
got
I've
no
got.
prep here.
No, that's all. I didn't want you guys. I said to you guys, I'm going to hit you on the fly, and I
This
want to
is
get
blind,
your
yeah.
reaction to it.
Oh, cool.
So my first one is, who would you rather, Jared Verse or Micah Parsons?
Jared Verse.
You can take into account contract, money, their age, everything.
For just on the field stuff, Jared Verse is probably a little bit more versatile in where he can line up, and I feel like Micah Parsons is a great player, but he's a bit of a one-trick pony. If he doesn't get you with the speed, the elite speed that he has to turn the corner, I feel like he can get washed a little bit more. Where Verse has just got a bit more of an arsenal, and yeah, that's where I'd lean on that.
An average to good guard can block Jared Verse. They like on most plays.
Did we see that at the Eagles?
Yeah, we did.
Did
of course
we?
we did.
Yeah. Keep going.
Micah Parsons, a fit, healthy Micah Parsons. There's 2 or 3 tackles in the NFL that can handle him.
Yep.
Maybe.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah.
Every other tackle is getting whooped.
Here's my theory on it, right?
If he wasn't such a fucking spastic and said such dumb shit 24/7, it'd be Micah Parsons by the length of the Flemington Straight.
Yeah.
The only reason that this is a close discussion is because of how much of an idiot he is. He's such a better player. It's not even close.
I tend to agree on the play. This is why I think it's such a good conversation because character versus player is the biggest contrast here. Versus, we've talked about him with our rookie stuff. He's a dog. He's physical. He's so energetic. He doesn't stop. Whereas Parsons, you're right. He is close to unblockable.
He's borderline unblockable.
In almost every game. When he's on, it's like teams literally are like, we'd have to go the opposite side of the field to him because he's so good.
Yep.
We can't touch him. And we've seen premier tackles struggle against. I'll never forget when Tyron Smith, this is prime Tyron Smith, when Micah Parsons, his first training, Tyron Smith came off and they were doing the one-on-one pass rush.
Mm-hmm.
And he came off and Mickey Spagnola, longtime Cowboys beat writer, interviewed Tyron. He was like, how'd you think the first round pick yet? He is sweating and he's like, put it this way, I'll be asking tomorrow that I don't get any reps against him because I actually want to practice properly.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I could not get my hands on him. Like he literally said, I haven't seen a guy that challenging since DeMarcus Ware.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that's just the level of what Parsons is. But the contract stuff, you've got Verse for 3 more years on his rookie contract. Parsons is going to get a lot of money next year, whether that be from the Cowboys or not. It's pretty safe to assume it's
I
going
would
to
say
be from
so.
the Cowboys.
They've left the gap there in
I don't think they can, as an organization, let a player like that leave your building
It's very to let that amount of talent leave
For
the
nothing.
organization
for
is
nothing. You can't just
is
let that guy walk out the
bad.
door.
It's a
for agency.
bad business.
So it won't happen. I think I would take Parsons just purely because he's so much better. But there's also Jared Verse just played his rookie year. The potential for him to get even better is there. Whereas I think Parsons kind of
I disagree.
You don't think he can get better?
I disagree
than Parsons?
because when has he gotten rid of all the off-field, off-season shit and just focused solely on football?
So you're in Parsons. I don't think Parsons can be a better player than what he is now.
Yeah.
I
He
think
might
can be
fine
better.
tune.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He
Like,
might
he can be
fine tune a few things.
better throughout the whole, more of the game.
Yeah,
if that makes
yeah.
sense.
Yeah, because don't get me wrong, Parsons gets a lot of crap fairly for his off-field stuff. It annoys the crap out of me. I've mentioned it many times. I just wish he'd put the podcast equipment away, shut up and play football.
Just shut the fuck up and play football.
But from all reports, him at the facility,
Yes.
on the field,
Yeah.
at training,
Or football.
he is psychotic. Like
Yeah.
first in the building, last to leave. He just
Sure.
does his podcast stuff on the side.
Yeah.
But I think there's this. He's
Doesn't
kind
mean I
of-
have to like it though.
No, and I don't either.
Yeah.
But he's almost painted a negative picture for himself and a negative narrative for himself that he doesn't care about football.
Can I tell you why
Yeah.
I'll pick Verse?
Yeah.
So the versatility. Where was he in the
The
NFL?
versatility.
Versatility. Where
Very
was
good.
he in the NFL for pressures this year?
Verse.
Yeah.
I think he was third or I think fourth. We
Fourth,
said. Yeah, you
fourth
might be
In the
right.
entire NFL.
Yeah, I think Parsons was 6th though, and he missed 6 games.
I'm just saying, if we're
I like it.
starting,
Yeah, I'm saying Verse had one of the better rookie years for a defensive. You can
Yeah.
compare him to guys like Parsons,
Yeah.
Watt,
And-
Nick Bosa, those sorts of guys.
and
You
I
can
would
put him in that category.
say coming into the year that no one would have thought the Rams would have had a very good defense.
No.
But like the Cowboys probably have a better. No, they're comparable, but you'd say the Cowboys would have a better defense.
Yep.
So there's more help around him. So then more teams are keying on Verse for being the threat.
Yep.
And then just like you can line him up at the 3, you can line him up over the nose.
Yeah.
You're never going to put Parsons at the 3.
No, what they do with Parsons a lot, his versatility comes in. They play him at off-ball linebacker.
Yeah.
They do that. The formation I love. Like I froth it every time I see it. They play 2 3s, 2 5s.
Yeah.
And they have him stand about 4 yards off the center,
Yeah.
and they just shoot everyone outside, and they let Parsons go one-on-one
Cut
with the
in
center.
under. Yeah.
And it's like, as someone who played center,
Yeah.
it looks terrifying because there's a 5-yard gap between you and the next offensive lineman, both sides, and you have the best athlete in football
Yeah.
coming downhill.
Very good design play. Very good.
That's what I said. You can do a lot. I just think it was when I thought about it, I was like, this is such a good would you rather because
Yeah.
the upside for Verse is massive.
Yep.
In 2 years' time, we could be saying Verse is the best defensive player in football. I truly
Yes.
believe that. I think
Yeah.
that's the
That's,
level
I don't
it
think
could
that's
be.
a reach.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
The counter to that is there's going to be a bit more tape out on him, and like offensive line coaches now will be like keying on him
Yeah,
too,
yeah, for sure.
as
for sure.
well. So that's especially in the run game, they'll be like
Yeah.
doubling him and all that kind of stuff. So it'll be interesting to see.
I think teams going to be running away from him very
It'll be
quickly.
interesting to see
Yeah, I think so too.
how he goes this year. It'll be
I think if we ask this question next year, it'll be pretty clear.
Yeah.
okay.
Because his second year.
Yeah,
will be-
like I'm not saying it won't be. I just want to just see it. Whereas I think Parsons got a few more runs on the board.
All right, and this is our next one. I'm going to some coaches. I want to do
Oh,
a coach one. Nick Sirianni.
Oh, here we go.
And I'm not saying this to be an asshole. Nick Sirianni or John Harbrow. And can I give a bit of like foreground for what I was thinking with this
They're
one?
pretty similar.
So
yeah.
John Harbrow, he's a special teams guy, not an offensive or defensive guy. Nick Sirianni, the same. Both of them have done a great job of being player coaches. They're always talked about as player coaches.
Mhm.
They're very comparable in terms of how they coach.
They're
John
measurables,
Harbrow's
yeah.
probably just been a bit more buttoned up in his career. He hasn't had some dicky moments. He's a bit more professional at times. Certainly not last year. Sirianni was about as professional as it got since the head shave.
Yeah.
He was, and I gave him
So
credit
you're
for that.
admitting that you were wrong.
No, they still shouldn't have extended him. I'm going to die on that hill. I'm gonna die on that hill. But anyway, I think they're a really good comparison. Like Sirianni,
Yeah, because they don't call
be,
plays. Yeah.
Sirianni could be the Harbrow of this league in 10 years' time, still on the Eagles. It's not an unrealistic thing that with good coordinators around him and a good team around him, he could still be there if he doesn't stuff it up.
I would say that Harbrow, after 4 years, you could see that. I think Sirianni, after 4 years, is a bit harder to see that.
Yeah, that's what,
I think it's a bit harder to see Sirianni at the Eagles in 10 years' time.
it's
after
also,
what's happened.
if I had to put them on the hot seat fire scale, I would say John
Harbrow.
Harbrow's higher.
Oh,
up. He's
he-
closer to getting fired than.
What do you
Sirianni.
mean?
Nick
He might be-
Sirianni's seat is frozen cold, bro. He's not going nowhere.
I
After
would
a
say
Super
He
Bowl.
would have to just turn into a bigger moron than he was at his worst time.
Jalen Hurts would have to go on TV and say, "I hate Nick Sirianni for him to
Yes,
get
I
fired."
agree.
Well,
What
to
do
be
you
honest,
take?
Players have to be like,
Jalen
we're
Hurts
not
is far
playing.
more replaceable than Sirianni.
Oh, Scott, no. Quarterbacks
That's
are
a
always.
that's a
more valued.
ridiculous call.
All right, we've got some Jalen Hurts stuff coming up later.
That's a
No,
ridiculous-
I-
Hold off on
can
Jalen
I-
Hurts.
So with I would say that Mike McDonald. No, the Mike.
Mike McDonald's the Seattle coach.
No, who's the Mike from Dolphins?
Mike McDaniels.
Mike McDaniels.
Yep.
They're probably rock, paper, scissors for the most hottest seat in the NFL.
Yes, that's very fair.
I would say those two. So yeah, Sirianni I'll take. As of right now, I'll take Sirianni over Harbrow.
Yeah, I think I would take Harbrow. I just think he has. This is where it's hard because I want to say he's got more runs on the board, but Sirianni's. How many Super Bowls has Harbrow won, Brocky? You know this, 2?
One.
He's on one.
One. The lights out one
Yeah.
Yes.
when they had to turn
10,
the power off to
11
win.
years ago.
His 5th year.
Yeah, the Harbrow.
Yeah,
It was the hard ball.
Yeah,
It was a hard ball.
So look,
What year was that? That was a while ago too.
14, I reckon.
Nah, 2012, 2013.
2012.
Seattle
The
one.
Jacoby Jones playoff run
Yeah.
and Joe Flacco playoff run.
So it was a while ago.
Hey, it was the
It was
Anquan
the-
Bolden
it
and
was the-
Torrey Smith.
Anquan Bolden was insane.
It was the oh my god, the Lewis. No, the linebacker. What's his name?
Ray Lewis.
Ray last year.
Yeah. It was his playoff run.
Yeah,
That
he had
was-
a good playoff run. Was that the year where Flacco threw the deep ball over the top of Denver in the AFC Championship
Yes.
game?
Yes, it
The
was.
win
90
the game, yeah.
yarder or the 70
Hey,
Hey,
bro,
bro,
yarder. or something.
just for curiosity, can you look up their winning percentages, please?
Yep.
Yeah, it's a good-
Sirianni's got him at line.
I just think if you do it for 15 years, you've done a lot right. But in saying that,
I think that's
I
symptomatic
find
of
it-
the Ravens, though.
Yeah,
they're
they
the
like
kind
their
of team.
coaches.
They don't move. They're not quick to hire and quick to fire kind of guys.
no, which is I think a good trait for teams personally.
Yeah. Okay. I disagree.
Tony,
I
unless
think-
you've got an absolute clusterfuck at a coach and you've just got to move.
I
on.
disagree.
Like,
I think like you got to look at a coach. A coach is kind of like a CEO
Yeah.
of a company, right? Like a high level CEO of a top company. High level CEO of a top company should not be there more than 5 or 6 years.
yeah, they move on to another.
Once the ideas are stale,
Yep.
it's time to move on.
Yeah.
That's why I don't think a coach, unless you're talking about Andy Reid or Bill Belichick,
Yeah.
and then again,
But
they're in a
always-
different echelon.
They're
right?
always changing if you watch their progression from
Agreed.
year to year.
I
to year
100% agree. They are.
Yeah.
They
What
are.
makes them the best coaches
Yeah,
ever.
Yes.
they're changing the game of people are actually catching up to them. That's
Yes.
a really good point.
Yeah.
Like,
So-
I think Shanahan's a bit in that category. I think he probably mellowed
Yes.
off last year or so, but in terms of offensive gurus, there hasn't been many better than Kyle Shanahan the last 4 or 5
Well,
years.
it's a imitation league, and
imitation league, yeah.
everyone's running. For,
So
Yeah.
John Harbaugh's career winning percentage is 0.617, so 185 wins, 115 losses. Sirianni is 48 and 20. giving him a 706 winning percentage.
Yeah.
Okay, so slightly better, but a much smaller body.
Smaller
of work.
body work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an interesting one. Like in saying that, I would probably right now, if I'm starting a new team, and it's like you can have Harbrow or Sirianni.
No, are you saying that, or are you saying given the current situations of where they are in the
I-
team?
No,
If
I'm
I'm
just talking
starting-
about the individual.
Oh, hang on. If I'm starting a team, I'm taking Harbrow to build a team.
Yeah, to be in the situation they're in now. You're
Yeah,
taking
yeah.
Sirianni.
But
Yeah, no,
1,000%.
No, sorry, I should have. All these things are just on the individual. Doesn't
Yeah,
have
okay.
necessarily be about the team they're in.
Yeah.
Just on the individual player, coach, situation, whatever.
Harbrow's winning record after the first 4 seasons was 63%
Okay,
as well. So 40 and 13, and then they won the Super Bowl the next year.
Yeah, so like very similar,
very comparable.
very
Yeah.
similar start to their careers. I just thought it was an interesting one. I think I would take. I think I'd take Harbrow as a coach just because he's been doing it a lot longer. But you're right. Like there is staleness there, and we'll see
Oh, there
this year.
definitely is.
I think personally, and there's a lot of staleness there. I think the amount of talent on that roster and to not be able to break through to even make a Super Bowl is, I don't want to say a failure because failure is a very strong word, but
It's a harsh word. It is.
it's a very strong
Pretty
word.
close,
because
though.
the NFL's
it's
fucking hard.
It's like rubbing failure
Yeah.
like that. It's like right, yeah,
George.
yeah, I know.
No,
Come on, someone get that picture up of George
It
and do it
is
again.
because the amount
But
of like if you go through those teams and see how many Pro Bowlers they had, how many All Pros they had Lamar, they had all these things. Like even last year, like to not be able to break through. Like I'm not saying that all of the blame has to go on the coach, but he's got to take the lion's share of the blame
Yeah, that's fair.
because that's just how it is, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, not unfortunately, just how it is in Nate. It's
Yeah.
like if as you said before, if
Can't take the
a
good.
business fails, the first guy to get
CEO's
chopped.
going to get the chop.
It's not
Exactly.
the supervisor that's 17 runs down. It's the CEO that gets
Yeah.
the chop if
Yep.
everything's failing. So, all right, next one.
I do see Todd Bunkin taking over as well soon.
Do you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think I've said it before. If they don't, at least they have to make a Super Bowl for Harbaugh to keep his job. I think this year.
If what's the
No,
Seattle's?
they'll make an AFC.
I think AFC Championship game.
They,
would be
no,
enough.
I am agreeing, but I'm saying if they make the AFC Championship game, he's the safest coach in the league.
Harbaugh.
I think so too.
Just the way
they
they
just
run.
extended him as well.
Yeah,
remember?
just-
If Mike McDonald didn't get the Seattle job, he would have been the head coach in 2 years'
He's
time.
killing
A
it,
year's
Seattle,
time.
just quietly.
He's
Yes.
a good coach.
He's a very
I
good
really
coach.
like
Yeah.
Mike Donald. All right,
Surprising player coach too.
next one. We're going into Wisconsin.
Ooh, Green
Brett
Bay.
Favre or
Brett?
Aaron Rodgers?
Brett Favre. Don't even worry about it.
So both have won a singular Super Bowl. Both obviously longtime Packers quarterbacks.
Mhm.
The incumbent Brett Favre, very comparable. I'll just start off by saying I would take Brett Favre purely because of the off-field stuff while he was playing. He's obviously had some shit go down when he's finished his career. Some sketchy things he was up to, which
I want my sack back.
yeah, no, but all that he was stealing money apparently at
Yeah,
some point,
yeah.
which I don't know. I take all that stuff with a grain of salt because I can't imagine why Brett Favre would want to steal money.
He was definitely stealing money.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like he'd be so rich, that dude. I don't see why he'd need to steal
His
money.
daughter's school needed a new volleyball court. What are you talking
They
about?
needed it, man. They needed it.
You know, what the
Um,
problem, you know what I found with a lot of like high level rich guys? They don't actually like spending their money. It's weird. I
Yeah,
don't get it. It's weird.
I'd be the worst rich guy ever. You would.
because I'd be the worst.
I
I'd be
would
telling
never
you,
be
yeah,
rich.
There would be signs. You would know.
Yeah.
There'd be a dump truck.
Can I please, Brock, have career passing yards and career passing touchdowns?
Well,
Absolutely, you
At the
can.
time of Green Bay.
Brett Favre was number one in all categories at one point. I think Tom Brady's taken over a few.
Yeah.
Except for interceptions where Brett Favre led. And I saw this clip of Brett Favre. This is what made me put him on. Him talking about he threw 4 interceptions in the game. This is when he was in his prime.
Yeah.
And the coach then was Mike Sherman. And there's a clip of them on the sideline. And he's like, I'm going to have to pull you. And Brett turns around and goes, I'm 2 away from the record and you're going to pull me from the game. And Mike Sherman starts
That's
pissing
funny.
himself. They just start laughing, and he's like, "All right, you got one more drive." He goes in and wins the game. He scores 2 touchdowns in about 3 minutes and wins them the game.
Mm.
But just the way he turned, because I'm close to the record, man. Like,
That's
let me get it.
Brett
Either
Favre,
let me win or let me get the record.
Brett Favre is the ultimate win or lose gunslinger, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I enjoyed
Everything
him.
we love about Baker, Brett Favre was the pioneer for and did it at a way better level.
Yeah,
So stats comparing each other.
I don't
Mhm.
care. It's Brett Favre.
Aaron Rodgers, 62,952
This
yards.
is at Green Bay.
This is career
This is
yards.
his career.
Okay.
And Brett Favre, 71,838 passing yards.
Mhm.
Touchdowns, Aaron Rodgers, 503. Brett Favre, 508.
Mhm.
Interceptions, Aaron Rodgers, 116. Any guesses for Brett Favre?
320.
Yeah, I was going to say 270.
George, have a guess, mate.
It'd be in the high twos, I think.
336.
Oh, that's right on it. Which is the NFL record.
So it's more than triple Rogers.
yeah. Well, Rogers was
It's a check down merchant.
like he was at times, but he was safe as houses. Like there
Yeah.
were seasons he threw 35 touchdowns and two
Single,
picks.
single.
Yeah.
look,
Like
picks,
he
yeah.
just
yeah.
didn't. He just valued the. That's why like everyone that goes, oh, they were basically like the same sort of guy. I'm like, they're not. They were so different because
Yeah.
Brett Favre was, I'm going to win or lose this game right now.
In the second quarter.
Yeah. Aaron. Spot on.
First drive.
Yeah,
Game.
it's like, I'm losing this or I'm winning it. Whereas Aaron Rodgers was like, no, I'll hang in here. I'll check it down a few times. My time will come.
Yeah.
Keeps the game
Throw it out
close.
of
And,
bounds.
and then when the game was on the line, he's like, I'll just go win it now.
And then it's winning time.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, 35 rushing touchdowns. Brett Favre, 14.
Yeah.
It's a different time, though.
100% different time.
Brett Favre played in a tougher era to play quarterback.
And I feel like as well, there wasn't the offenses to maybe highlight his skill set as well. They weren't designing guys open where you had the defense keying in on the underneath routes and he could just pipe it over the top.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So like they designed these deep balls so well in the NFL now.
I think gun to my head again, starting a franchise, I'd find it so hard to not go with Brett Favre.
Oh
As good as Aaron Rodgers, and this is no slight to Aaron
no,
Rodgers.
no.
Like
no.
I'm not. He was a bit of a knucklehead off the foot. I don't mind Aaron Rodgers' personality. I think he's.
I listened
More
to
of
the Rogan podcast with him. It
Yeah.
was real funny.
I
man.
think
It was
he's
good.
more of a troll than a dickhead. If that makes
yeah,
sense. Like
he definitely
he
is.
Yeah,
knows
like
what
me.
he's
He's
doing.
like me, not
Yeah.
a troll, not a dickhead, just a troll.
But,
Cap.
but he's intelligent.
I don't think he-
attractive, good at sport.
He's not as me. I'm not as him.
Yeah, I'm saying him.
Yeah, come on, bro.
But, like,
There's a talent level.
But like with all the stuff that everyone like shits on Rodgers about, like I've never heard someone come out of the locker room and go, "Yeah, he's a cancer."
Yeah,
No,
He's well loved. He like after training, there's all these stories that like he'll come out with slabs for the O line.
yeah, that was my story. Chris Bryan,
yeah.
long time podcast. He was a legend. Love Chris Bryan. I hope he listens because
shout out.
I should try and get him on the show for an interview. He would do it in a heartbeat. He's an absolute legend of a guy. He told us his rookie year as a punter from Australia.
Yeah.
First training session. No one's talking to him. Everyone's nervous as shit.
Mm.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers comes up, puts his arm around, and he goes, "I heard you're from Australia."
Oh, cool.
And he's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
"Oh,
cool.
you're Aaron Rodgers." He's like, "Hey, dude, act cool. Like you're on the
Yeah.
team.
Yeah.
Like act like you've been here before."
I
And
know.
he's like-
I know. I'm Aaron
And then
Rodgers,
after
but
the
yeah,
game,
that's
he
cool,
said
that's
to him,
fine.
"Oh, you boys, you like what sort of beer do you like? You like Foster's, obviously." And he's like, "Nah, Foster's is shit. No
Yeah.
one in Australia drinks
Yeah.
Foster's." He's like, "What do you drink? Like, what's beer?" And he was like, "Oh, VB."
Yeah.
So 3 days later, he imported a slab of VB.
Yeah.
And after training, they had an off day the next day, so allowed to go and have a drink and have
No
have some fun.
way.
Yeah.
He walked in the locker room and was like, "Chris, I've got you a slab of VB," and they sat and had a VB
Wow,
together.
that's cool.
He
as,
said
man.
Aaron Rodgers almost vomited. It was that bad.
In a quiet
Oh,
it's a real Aussie beer.
It's cold.
But
cat,
yeah,
it's really.
that's the story I know of someone firsthand that was with
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers and met him and just was always for years. I mean, 5 years after, I think it was like 8 years after he played for Green Bay, Chris Bryan was still like, he was one of the nicest dudes ever.
Yeah,
Everyone
yeah,
on that
yeah.
team loved him.
Yeah.
So he just doesn't buy into the media shit, Aaron Rodgers. He doesn't like the media. And
Yeah.
as I said before, he's more of a
He
troll
doesn't
than
have
a
to like
dickhead.
the media. Though.
And
No, he doesn't have to.
And I think he might rub the higher ups of the teams, like the general managers, the assistant GMs, and some of the coaches, the wrong way.
Yeah.
I think that persona might come out, but I think the players themselves and the training staff that that do all the jersey stuff and help him. Like you've never heard anyone. He's respectful. He has time for everyone.
This is a guy that they never drafted a skill position player in the first round for him in his
Yeah.
entire career, Aaron Rodgers.
So you guys done? Can I give you mine?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm saying
sorry.
Brett Favre. I'm
Oh,
going
Brett Favre.
No. Hey, all love, all love. Peak of his powers,
Yep.
Aaron Rodgers was untouchable.
He's maybe the best pure quarterback.
And that's what I was going to say. Like as a thrower of the ball,
Mhm.
like I've been watching football for long enough.
Yep.
I don't. For me, he's the best thrower of the ball.
Yeah, that's
in my opinion.
Yeah.
If we're talking in their prime, I'm starting a franchise tomorrow. It's Aaron Rodgers all the way.
That's fair. I just think I love him.
Untouchable.
I just think I think me and you are the same. I just love that attitude of
His skill
I'm
set.
losing the game in the second quarter. That's
yeah,
his prime.
Yep.
He's like again in his prime. His mobility was very underrated as
Yes.
well in his
Oh,
prime.
yeah.
Yep.
Rodgers.
Well, that's why they changed the rule that you can't land on the quarterback
Yeah,
purely
so,
on Rodgers when he broke his collarbone.
I think his arm talent, his ability to make all the reads and all the throws. I just think he's a better. Like, yeah, gunslinger and all that, fine. But I just think as a quarterback and all the different skills that are
A bit more
required,
polished.
he's just better.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair
And he
too.
won all those MVPs. Like, there's a reason.
Yeah.
He was fucking
I
good.
think Favre won MVPs.
5-1 MVP, I believe.
yeah.
I believe. All right, I've got a wide receiver one.
Just before you get onto that,
Yeah, sorry.
the awards, Favre won 3 MVPs.
Shit, did he really?
He won 3, and Rodgers won 4.
Pretty comparable.
Green Bay have had such
Tin
there
Hut
are
run.
teams
It's disgusting.
that have started Kevin Cobb in the last 15
I
years.
saw that. I know.
Seneca Wallace.
Yeah, I know. That's the first one. I was like,
Charlie
oh my God,
Whitehurst,
Seneca Wallace.
like,
Yeah.
The Titans started Charlie
Mark
Whitehurst
Bolger.
for a
I was like,
season.
hey, Mark Bolger is a genuine champion of
Yeah.
the game. He's not forgotten.
There's also some good ones. Them David Garrard.
Yeah.
he had a
yeah.
mad run in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are teams that have struggled through, and these guys have gone from Brett Favre for 20 years to Aaron Rodgers, and now Jordan Love. That matter
And-
what you think of Jordan Love now, he's one of the better
They
quarterbacks
had
in the
Matt
NFC.
Hasselback as a backup,
Yes.
who knows nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah,
Right.
Brett Favre's first completed pass as well was to
A
himself.
pick.
No, to himself.
To himself.
Bounced off the offensive line's helmet and he caught it.
Yeah.
Caught it, yep.
And then his second pass was a big
Pick
six. So also,
That's all you need to know about Brett Favre's career.
oh, he was fun. He was
Yeah.
fun. All
Also,
right.
do yourself a favor, and if you haven't seen it, watch the ESPN documentary on Brett Favre. It is fantastic.
Yeah,
There's
it's
a
actually
new
really
there's a new Netflix one out as well for him, an
Oh,
untold
yeah.
Netflix one for
Is
him.
it good? Is it
I haven't watched it
I'll
yet.
have to
I
watch
watched
that.
The Liver King the other day. It's trash.
Watch the
the
old
Liver
one.
King? Oh, I'm not on steroids. Yes, you are. Everyone says you are. Oh, okay. Now you caught me. I am. Story over. Full stop.
Yeah.
All right. Next one. Wide receivers.
Let's go.
And I want to preface this before I say them are.
Preface.
No one is allowed to say, obviously, I'd have either of them. Okay. That's all I'm going to say.
You got to
Okay,
Jamar
I'm going
Chase
uh-huh.
or Justin Jefferson.
Chase.
Right now.
Right now, Chase.
Yeah. Whichever one. New franchise tomorrow. Who you taking?
Jetters.
I'm taking Chase. I think Chase is. I think Jetters is in the same echelon. But I think when you take the top receivers in the league,
Mm.
it's Chase, and then a little gap, and then Jefferson, and then a bit more of a gap. Then you've got your CD Lambs and those
Yeah.
next. There's probably a few.
And then you go to Cliff and Tyreek Hill.
Don't talk about Cliff Tyreek Hill. Throw someone off it.
Whoa.
All right.
Whoa.
Am I wrong? No. I think Jamar Chase. It's a either would be fine. I just broke my rule, but
Yeah.
I think Jamar Chase last year proved that he is the best receiver
Yeah.
in football. He was injured the year before, and he still put up 1,000 yards, only playing half a season. Like
Yeah.
this guy is. I think when it's all said and done, in hopefully 15 years' time, fingers crossed, toes crossed, injuries turned off at the Volt Studio, I think he goes down as one of the better receivers ever.
The
That's
only
level I
the
believe.
only caveat is who's been throwing him the ball.
True. Jefferson's
then
done a
go-
lot with a little.
What about coaching? Because McConnell is a far superior coach.
Yes, offensive
And
coach for sure.
scheming.
Yeah, there's no
And
doubt
Kirk
about
Cousins is obviously
that. You can scheme all you want, but you still got to make the throw.
Kirk Cousins was a fine quarterback.
Yeah, he wasn't- he wasn't-
But he's no Joe Burrow.
No,
Like, he's not even in the same
But
discussion.
I would say that
He's
in
top
this-
5.
If we're talking
Oh,
about
shut up, Brock.
Brock, hey.
Yeah, if we're taking the
Love you,
whole
Brock.
scheming as a whole, I would say Kirk Cousins and McConnell is better than what's his name, Taylor and Burrow.
That's fair.
I would say
McConnell
the
is
gap.
an out-
I would say the gap between Burrow and Taylor is far higher than the gap between Cousins and McConnell.
This might be a bit of a hot take, but I think Kevin O'Connell is turning into the new Shanahan.
Sure.
I think in a couple of years' time, everyone's going to
Him
be
and
like,
LaFleur
yeah,
are very
like
right
we
there.
we need a and then both of them came from the Shanahan system, but
Yeah.
they've taken that and then made it their own a little bit.
I love Matt
like,
LaFleur. I think
like
he's really
what O'Connell did with Darnold last year was phenomenal. Like this,
And Kirk Cousins. Look what Kirk Cousins.
yeah.
Well, look
the
what
second he
he-
leaves, what he becomes.
good.
Yeah,
Earned
yeah,
himself
look-
$100
yeah,
million
exactly.
for nothing. Yeah.
Good on you, Kirk. What on Kirk?
Yeah, you're getting that bag.
Hey,
Good for him, bro.
good on him. Earn all the money you can.
No, I'm taking Chase. He's
I'm taking Chase too. Who you got,
Yeah.
Georgie?
I'm taking Jetters because if he had Burrow throwing in the ball, fuck, man.
Man, remember when there was a time they thought Jetters was going to get traded to
yeah,
the Bengals? That was the start of
Yeah.
this time last year.
Yeah.
Those rumors because they're like, what are the Vikings doing at quarterback? And then Sam Darnold kicks the door in and goes, "I got you, Jay Jetters."
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, my next one. This is a bit of a rookie quarterback: Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels.
I'm taking Caleb Williams
I am
because if you just go off, I'm. This is going to be harsh. I would take the guy that can take all the throws and make all the throws, and he looks like just a phenomenal passer. We talk about natural talent of passing the ball.
Yep.
Caleb Williams aesthetically is that Aaron Rodgers-esque
Ticks every box.
of when the ball he zips it. And I was wrong when I said Jalen Daniels is a bust, but I think it was a little bit gimmicky last year. And I think he's a little bit more of a system quarterback. And this year he's going to be very telling with a year of film on
Tougher
the
schedule.
on the Cliff Kingsbury offense, the tougher schedule, and you're relying on these dump off. Like we're talking about the high completion rate. How long is he holding the ball for? It's like 1.6 seconds. Obviously, in the NFL, if you're throwing the ball within 1 second, your receiver is going to be open.
Yes, very fair.
So
you're not throwing it to a covered guy after 1 second.
no, so. And I just think that you pad some stats up and you're like, oh, that guy looks really good. And then you go, oh, the other guy's been sacked 60 times. And you're like, well, if
Third most
not-
ever in the
not
season.
not both situations are equal. So
No. I'm the same. I think I really like Jaden Daniels too.
I
have
didn't
no
want to
issue
make
with him.
it sound like I
No.
hate him or anything like that, but that's just how I see it. And he's still a very good quarterback. And shit, if we didn't have Milrow, I'd take Daniels. But MVP
Hold
2027.
off.
We're coming.
Hold off a mirror.
All right,
Hold off.
I'm taking Milrow.
Hold
Taking
off,
Milrow
hold off.
over
No,
Jackson.
I
Milrow.
just think I'm with you, Scotty. Caleb Williams just ticks all the boxes of what a pro quarterback is. And I think I will be gutted if he doesn't end up being a good quarterback. I'll be honestly gutted. I think he's so talented. And I think if he fails, I will blame all of it on the Bears. I don't care. I don't care.
Oh, they're cursed.
Yeah, if he falls apart, I'll be like, the Bears are never going to have a good quarterback.
After this offseason with the weapons he have, the coach that he has, the O-line that they've paid for, if that fails, it's like an Indian burial ground, that
Yeah,
field.
it's not even the Bears' fault anymore.
Yeah.
It's just there's something wrong.
It's,
It was an army hospital, so it checks out there.
it's impossible. It can't fail. Not with Ben Johnson. No way.
No,
He's
I
too
think
good a
he'll be
coach.
good. So who are you taking out of them? Because I know you love Jane. You were an injury away from him being the best quarterback in football.
He's
last
so
year.
good, mate. He
Yeah.
was so good last year. Let me say it like this: if all things are equal, let's say that the two, he's better at one thing, he's better at another, whatever, they're equal.
Yep.
Look at who their coaches are, and I'm taking Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams every day of the week.
Yeah, I think I'm the same.
That marriage will be a match made in heaven.
There's also a recipe for Cliff Kingsbury's failures. I'm not
Yes.
ragging on Cliff Kingsbury.
Yep.
He had an amazing first year with Kyler Murray.
Yep.
Got Kyler Murray all that money that I'm sure the Cardinals are still regretting to this day. He's still like the sixth highest paid quarterback at, I think it's like 52 million. Everyone's getting upset about Brock Purdy.
But his
right?
KD on quad, his COD is out of control.
Yeah, out of
man.
Oh, I've got him
Wrong.
covered on that. Don't worry about that.
Scotty's got him. But you know what I mean? Like, I think we've seen the Cliff Kingsbury failure before.
Yeah.
And I hope for Washington fans it doesn't happen because I think, even as a Cowboys fan, it's crazy. I think Washington deserves some success.
Oh, yeah.
What happened with RG3 was really unfortunate. The John Snyder era, all that sort of stuff. They deserve some success and they got it last year. But I think we're going to get a bit of a fall off from Jaden Daniels. And I truly think Caleb Williams is going to just propel next year.
It's impossible that he doesn't. It can't not
Well,
be.
it said if it's not, they are cursed.
How can it not be? To
I-
play devil's advocate for 5 seconds, how can it not be?
He sucks.
What doesn't he have?
This has happened before in the NFL where
Yeah.
you had the dream team all together and it's failed miserably.
But he's shown enough with dog shit all around him.
Yeah.
And now they've replaced it with actually proper pieces,
Yeah.
Competence.
proper coach, this, that. It's
Yeah.
impossible. He's going to have a good season.
They drafted Loveland as well, didn't they? Have I got that
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
They're
Cotton.
set.
Yeah.
They're set. Cotton Loveland. My bad, the world.
So it's impossible. It just can't.
Yeah.
It would have to be like one of the most monumental fall offs in the history of the
I
NFL.
might buy us
ever.
all Caleb Williams jerseys for the season just so we can
Nah,
really.
it's still too zesty for me, but
Nah.
I'll tell you what, we'll get the jerseys. We'll paint our nails together.
Interesting
That's not gonna
that we
happen.
bring up Caleb Williams. You see that his dad, who's probably the only limelight on the situation, brought out the book
Yeah,
about him trying to pull an Eli Manning out of the Bears.
it was actually true because
Yeah.
all the speculation in it. He
Yeah.
literally was like, "I'm not playing for the Bears."
yeah.
So I don't know what they did to convince him. They
Well,
might have showed him the burial
money.
ground.
Yeah. Maybe they got the voodoo working the other way.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, I've got another one. Now I want to preface this by saying this one is for Scotty and Scotty only. If you aren't Scotty, please don't answer. Nick Emanwari or Jalen Milrow?
I'm taking my man Nicky Manwari.
He's
Sure.
gone against Jalen.
Yeah, bro, he's gonna. I'm telling you,
he's going to be starting.
Nah, he probably won't. Yeah, I'm taking
Defensive Rookie of the Year?
No, because So what do you want about Seattle's defense? They finished the year strong, and I've always loved Kobe Bryant, and Julian loves a good safety. It's going to be hard for him to play. He'll probably be playing he's not taking Devin Witherspoon's nickel spot.
No one's taking that spot. Is it Devin Witherspoon's the best nickel player? Because I don't think calling them a corner anymore is fair.
Yeah.
Good nickels aren't corners; they are everything.
Yeah,
I think he's the best in the league. Personally,
he's right up there. I was watching a game the other day, and they had him lining up outside, at boundary corner, and it was a run play, and he just smoked the wide receiver and just hit the guy 4 yards deep. And I was just like, bro, if he was just a little bit heavier and a little bit taller, he would genuinely be the MVP.
Yeah.
Defensive MVP.
Which I don't think him being a defensive MVP is out of the realms of possibility either.
No.
I think he's that talented.
Oh, he was paying $51 and I put a substantial amount.
But how are you off Jalen Milroe? He's your boy.
No, I think Nick Eamon is definitely my guy.
It's a tough one for you. I can see. It's like picking between your kids.
I'm a defense guy. It wasn't that hard. It wasn't that hard at all.
George, do you want to pick?
He doesn't even know who we're talking about.
No, 100. Yes, I do. I'm with you. You got to go with the quarterback.
How could anyone not know who anyone in this room?
Anyone that listens to this podcast.
My kids wake up going, "Who's Nick Eamon?"
He'll probably be the starting quarterback in 2 seasons.
He will be for sure. The way the contract's set up. No, I've actually got a Nick Eamon jersey coming too.
It's
going to be a surprise.
Can I ask a question? On?
Is it from DHgate?
It is.
Obviously, no one buys real jerseys.
It is.
Grow up, Brock.
From the same factory.
Turn your brain on, Brock.
Come on. Brock.
Is there a chance that Jalen Milroe pulls a Russell Wilson?
No.
And starts games this year?
The only way that Jalen Milroe starts games is Seattle's going to bring these packages in for him. They reckon about 10 snaps, 6 to 10 snaps a game. If they all go seemingly well and Darnold gets hurt. That's the only way.
Because you remember when Russell Wilson got drafted, they drafted Matt Flynn, who was also on that list.
Well, they got him for...
They signed him after he had a 6 touchdown game.
Yeah.
And then everyone was like, oh, Flynn's the guy. And Russell Wilson just came in and went to Pete Carroll's first year as coach and was like, nah, I'm going with Russell Wilson.
The difference for that is that Russell Wilson would have been a bona fide almost... Andrew Luck, he would have been the second overall pick if he was 4 inches taller. He was a very polished passer. He had every aspect of his game. The only reason why he fell to the 3rd round because of his height. And I think Jalen Milroe, the athletic ability can only get you so far. And I don't think, and it's not a knock on him, from all reports, he's the kind of guy that works hard first at the gym, asks his coach everything. He's working on all that sort of stuff. So the mental part of it will come. But if you can't hit the short throws and the timing throws,
in the NFL.
You're not going to last long. So I think you just got to work on that stuff. And he's working on the mechanics on that stuff. But I can't see it being the same Cinderella story as Russell Wilson.
No, that's fair.
So
all right, my next one. This one's for you, George.
Well, here we go.
All right.
I feel a trigger warning.
It's going to shock you. Jalen Hurts or Donovan McNabb.
Ooh.
Tough one, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. I think McNabb was a better passer of the ball.
Oh, now I'm disappointed because I didn't think he'd say that.
No,
He's being so logical about it, and I hate it.
How dare I?
Look Jalen Hurts in the eyes, and you telling McNabb was a better passer.
McNabb was a better passer of the ball.
I think we looked at the other week. McNabb's like 24th all-time in passing yards. Like he had a very good career. McNabb.
Yeah,
Washington ruined it. Good on you, Schneider.
I think the only thing that would make me pick Hurts is that Hurts's best games have been in his biggest games.
Yeah.
And I think if you look back on his career, McNabb's worst games have been in the biggest games.
Yeah,
I think
wasn't it?
That's a big defining moment.
Yeah.
In when you're talking about your career and your legacy.
Well, it's what defines McNabb from being a potential Hall of Famer to a not Hall of Famer.
To a very good point.
To a Hall of Very Good.
Because although obviously his career is much shorter, you can see in big games Hurts really steps up and outplays the opposing quarterback like it's glaringly obvious.
Which is surprising
because it's more obvious because of his what you guys would call limited skill set. Like if it was Peyton Manning, you'd be like, oh, well, no shit, he's
the rest of the world too.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah.
Well, it's not, you don't like limit. When I say Jalen Hurts is a limited, that was very good from Scotty.
I mean, yeah,
when-
fine, you can say it, but at the end of the day, he's still
He's
still
Super-
Super Bowl champ
Super
and
Bowl
a Super Bowl MVP. Like,
Very
Absolutely, and he was the
You can
MVP
make-
the year they lost as well. And
he
I
was
did,
a-
and I
he
did
was.
say that.
He
I
was.
have said
He
that.
was.
Yeah.
100% was. He outplayed
So who?
Mahomes twice.
So who you taking?
Hurts because of his big game ability.
Okay, fair enough. All right, next one: Patrick Mahomes or Peyton Manning. Let's think. Peyton Manning is known as one of the best quarterbacks of all time,
I know who I'm taking.
and Patrick Mahomes is on a trajectory to be in the same echelon as those sorts of guys.
This one's hard.
It
I
is
know.
hard.
I'm taking Peyton Manning.
Oh, I'm shocked by that.
Why?
Why are you taking Peyton Manning?
Because I still attribute a lot of Patrick Mahomes' success to the fact that Andy Reid is his coach.
I might take Peyton as well, actually.
I
And
think
this is why.
if you take Reid away, he's nowhere near the quarterback he is.
Oh, I'm taking Peyton Manning too. But my thoughts are you value, this is not a dig at you value winning over a lot of things.
Mhm.
Peyton Manning won 2 Super Bowls. One when he was an absolute superstar, broke the curse of the Colts, could
He
never
only
get.
won one.
No, he won 2. His second one
One in Denver.
was when
Oh.
his neck was almost dying on the field.
You're right.
He was a corpse. Every ball
His
he
defense
threw,
won him that one against
yes,
Carolina.
Yes, every ball
His
he threw
defense won
was
the game,
slapping.
and they
He
got to the
actually
Super Bowl
had-
because of Brock Osweiler.
He actually
Let's be real
had
now.
the least amount of passing yards for anyone to win. A
So you
Super
talk
Bowl.
about guys who are their best in big moments. Peyton Manning wasn't, and he just wasn't his best in big moments.
No, he
just,
wasn't.
Now his Super Bowl he played again. They beat the Bears. He beat Rex Grossman.
Yes.
Rex Grossman would have been the worst quarterback to win a Super Bowl in the history of the NFL.
Trent Dilfer.
He would have taken the cake from Trent Dilfer because Rex Grossman was terrible, right?
Brian Urlacher's.
And that's where it's
Super Bowl.
hard because Peyton Manning, I think, as a longevity and as a player, had a better career, but Mahomes' career is nowhere near, not even halfway through. And
Yeah.
we could be talking about, like, if Mahomes' career ends tomorrow, he's had more Super Bowl wins than Peyton Manning already.
I definitely on talent, you take Mahomes. I think on pure
On
passing
pure passing
talent,
talent, I agree. Mahomes
but
is
what
outstanding.
what Peyton Manning did, and is only second to none to Tom Brady, was he tormented defenses.
Yeah.
He studied defenses harder than what defensive coordinators studied.
Yeah.
And he, like, we shared the clip about Reed and all that sort of stuff. And if anyone knows what we're talking about, like he knew exactly what the defense was doing just from like the simplest, smallest cues.
The feet, the way the corner's feet were facing on a play,
Yep.
he would know that not just what the corner was doing, he would know their entire like play
Coverage package,
based
yeah.
off what that corner was doing. Okay, it's cover 3 because he's going to bail out. But I know that this team, they actually like to drop the middle linebacker deep and then roll the safety over.
Yeah.
So the hole's going to be here.
Yep.
And he just hit it.
Yeah. So I would take that ability of like almost like seeing the future than the arm talent, because I think that so many guys in the NFL have arm talent and so many guys don't make it, but there's only been a very few amount of guys that have been like a savant on the field.
Mm.
And that's why you take Peyton.
Yeah, I feel Peyton Manning, like a lot of people when they do like rank all-time quarterbacks, they have Peyton Manning like 5th or 6th, and it's always based off Super. They have like Steve Young, Montana,
Yeah.
Sure.
Brady, obviously, but like they have these guys in front of them. Oh, they won more Super Bowls. I'm like, sometimes like
Well, Troy Aikman, like, you know what I mean? Like, you taking Troy Aikman or are you taking
no, Peyton
Peyton
Manning in
Manning.
a
You know what I mean?
heartbeat. Like it's not
Yeah,
even a
yeah.
conversation. Like,
yeah.
so that people rank these guys, I feel like quarterbacks just get bumped up too much from Super Bowls.
Yes.
Not that it shouldn't be used to evaluate them.
Yeah.
But
It has to be used to
it has to,
evaluate
but
him,
I think they
there's
put
gotta be
too
other factors, yeah.
much on the fact that, you know, like if you went off that fate, then Dan Marino is not a good quarterback.
Yeah,
He's not
exactly.
even a top 10
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
Where Dan Marino changed football.
Yes.
Like he changed
absolutely.
the quarterback position.
Yeah, he was throwing 5,000 yards like back then.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah, like he
yeah.
changed the position where
Yeah.
everyone went, okay, we can actually throw the ball crazy,
Yeah.
because we can get talented guys like Dan Marino. So
Yeah.
I'm personally taking Peyton Manning. It's a hard one because Peyton Manning's career is over, Mahomes' isn't.
You knew it was a hard one for about 5 seconds after we were all like, shit,
Yeah.
this is actually
Very
really
challenging.
hard.
I've
Yeah.
done pretty well with my
Yeah.
comparisons.
And I think the Andy Reid factor needs to be mentioned as well.
Yes, but
I think you'd be successful without Reed as well.
I think so too, and I also
E-
think Tony
equally-
Dungy was an
equally as
outstanding
successful?
career. Who was
I don't
the?
know. You'd never know. But I
I
think
don't
he has
think so.
all the measurables to be successful in any system.
the Colts also had, I think it was Mike Moore, his offensive coordinator, that Peyton Manning basically had his entire career.
Mhm.
So there's some solidge in that as well. Like Andy Reid, when people say like Mahomes takes a lot from Andy Reid, I agree. But Andy Reid also failed a lot with other quarterbacks before Mahomes. Donovan McNabb being one of
Yeah.
them. He was the
Alex
ultimate.
Smith.
Yeah, he was the ultimate. Gets to the end game and can't win it. Like
Yeah.
that was Andy Reid's.
That's
until-
why Philly got rid of him.
exactly
yeah,
until
we got rid of him for
Mahomes
that reason.
walked in the door and then went, okay, we're going to go to 4 Super Bowls in 5 years and win 3 of them.
Yeah.
So there's got to be some respect put on both their names. Where it was just, as I said, it was a symbiotic relationship. It was a perfect marriage for two guys. A gunslinger with all this talent and Andy Reid that could go, yeah, no, I can work with you.
Yeah.
So it's tough though. I'm taking Peyton Manning personally. I just think
Yeah.
runs on the board in 5 years' time, it might be a completely different conversation. In 5 years' time, it could be a Brady or Mahomes conversation. And
I'll
that's
tell
it.
you what, if Mahomes wins another one, I think he ekes out Peyton Manning.
I think so too.
I
That's,
think
that's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
4
yeah.
Super Bowls is
4 Super Bowls, it outweighs the talent difference.
Still got to win it, but yeah.
I just want to make note of Andy Reid's winning percentage in Philadelphia was 583. In Kansas City for 12 years was 730.
Has Andy Reid been in KC for 12 years?
Yeah, Alex
It's been
Smith for
12
3
years,
or
yeah.
4
He did. He had
years.
Alex Smith. I feel like did he have Matt Cassell
Matt
for a
Cassell,
year?
yeah.
Matt Cassell was like a borderline MVP that 1 year he subbed.
Well,
for
when he
Andy
subbed
Reid.
in for Tom Brady when he did his
Told you,
ACL.
No, when he was at the Chiefs.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Matt Cassell had like a 30 touchdown, 3 pick season.
You see the one where they took
Reid's
him
a
out of the
fucking
game?
man, bro. I'm telling you.
Reid's a very good coach.
He's
It's
a fucking man.
I think we can all pretty much agree. Like in my categories, it's Belichick and Reid are the
He's
other
better than Belichick.
are 1 and 2, and you can argue them back and forth all you want, but I think they're both the best coaches ever. All right, last one.
Ooh.
Teams. So
Here we go.
this is what team would you prefer to take over? The Browns?
Currently,
Currently. So
Okay.
this is right now. I'm telling you can have one of these two teams.
As coach or GM?
Whatever you want. I don't care.
Sure.
These are the
Both.
teams you've got. Both.
Both.
Yeah, both. Browns or the Steelers?
I'm taking the Browns so I can cut shit all.
Hey, don't worry. He might get cut.
Such a
Hmm.
hater. Oh,
He's currently 5th on their depth chart.
Nah, it's just so that.
Well, you can't take all the quarterbacks. They're going to want to keep either Flacco. They're going to keep Deshaun. They can't cut him.
No.
So he'll probably go on IR though, I'd imagine, which
Nah,
then
no.
leaves them with 3 quarterback spots. So
Oh,
they-
is he still injured?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
re-tore his Achilles in the
he's
offseason.
playing basketball. Oh, sorry, doing football things
Yeah.
according to his
So
reports.
It was
what does that
TikTok
mean?
dances.
He's out for the year. Like
No,
that's
it
been-
wasn't like a.
But I
he
think it would just
re-injured
be,
it.
yeah.
I think they'll IR him and they'll keep him out.
Yeah.
And they've got Pickett.
Pickett's gone.
Pickett,
Small hands will
Flacco, Shador, and Gabriel. And from all reports, Stefanski loves Taylor Gabriel.
Yeah.
Loves him.
Right.
And actually has outplayed
Bit short though. isn't he?
Shador. He is short, yeah, but he's outplayed
It was-
Shador massively.
We
in-
said on this show offline that he makes literally every throw. It's a Russell Wilson thing. He's a very competent quarterback. He's just 3 inches too short.
All right, Browns or Steelers though? You taking them over right now? The next 5 years, who's got a better output, a better prospect out of those two teams?
Browns.
I'm taking the Browns.
Take
I think so
Browns.
too. I think they've got better players at some positions, not all positions. But Miles, you talk about everyone goes when you talk about the Steelers. Oh, they got TJ Watt. Browns have Miles Garrett. Miles Garrett is a better football player than TJ Watt
And younger.
and younger.
My worry with the Steelers are that outside of McQueen, they're aging very quick and they're very expensive, and it's a hard obstacle to overcome. They've lost their identity, I believe, and their Hail Mary is a 39,000-year-old Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
He may not even go there. I don't even
Yeah.
think he wants to go there.
But
think he wants to
I
go
know
and-
I
that
feel
people-
like he wants. If he really, really in his heart of hearts wanted to,
He would have done it already.
he'd be there. He would have signed.
And I know everyone's saying, well, the Browns don't have a quarterback either, but like their backup's not Mason Rudolph, or their starter's not Mason Rudolph right now.
Yeah, they don't.
I would still take Gabriel and Kenny Pickett over.
I just think
Rudolph,
even take the
Rudolph.
quarterback position out of it. I think the Browns have better players.
They had a far better draft.
Yeah, I think they've got
Oh.
better players in their team. I think their offensive line's better. I think like Denzel Ward goes under the radar. He's an outstanding corner. He's not your PS2 or those sorts of guys, but
I don't think
he's
he's
an
on the radar.
outstanding corner.
I think it's the jury. Everyone knows he's an absolute jet.
Yeah, he's good. The Browns, like Steelers, don't have a running back.
But Warren's
Yeah,
all right. He's okay.
I'm not right. I'm not
Do
right.
they still have Warren, or do they get rid
Yeah,
of him?
they've got Warren. They've definitely got
Yeah.
Warren still. I don't. Like, you
I
look at-
really rate Judkins as well, which is who The Browns got the second round. They got the gun linebacker. I always forget.
Oh,
his name.
it's like Schwarzenegger or
Schwarzenegger,
something like that. Yeah, he looks
It's very
good.
close.
The other thing,
Very,
the Browns
very
have got.
close
I know.
to getting in trouble there.
I know Aruso Kuamoa. Scotty will get the tattoo. I know Aruso Kuamoa.
Yeah, he's out for the
He's
season.
out for the season,
Yeah.
but from all reports, he's going to be fine. They want to just rehab him
Rehab him
properly
up,
and
yeah.
fix him up.
I don't
properly.
know.
It's never good when you have neck injuries with
When
linebackers.
you have a neck injury and you're out, happened like week 7 or 8, you're out that whole year and you're out the following year. That's never good.
But you look like petition. So Cam Hayward's obviously started Hall of Famer. He's got 1 year left.
Yep.
Whereas the Browns have Mason Graham coming in, who I think is going to be an absolute star.
Yeah.
It's like they're just,
Yeah.
And Steelers fans, Skinny, let us know if you're upset by this, but I just think that the Browns are a better team all round than the Steelers right
I
now.
don't know about better, but they're definitely younger, aren't they?
They're almost comparable, but they're all
Pittsburgh are
young.
very old. Yeah.
Yep, that's my thoughts.
I
on it.
think talent wise in the wash, they probably it all equals out. Let's say.
Yep.
But yeah, they're much younger. That's for sure.
And I think Myles Garrett is just an absolute stud. I think
Yeah.
I don't know how the Browns.
So
did
is
it. What-
TJ. So is TJ.
Yeah,
TJ
But
TJ
you
was
think
fine.
Miles Garrett's probably got a little bit more juice left in the tank than what TJ does.
TJ
Yeah,
was-
the injury, I think
hurt
the
a lot.
injuries might have piled up a little bit with TJ as well.
Yeah.
He
maybe.
plays so. I don't know. Reckless is probably not the right word, but he's just so physical.
yeah, I think like
It
if you,
takes a toll.
if
Well,
I gave you a
with
would
his
you
brother.
rather of Myles Garrett or TJ Watt, it'd be one of those ones again where you're like, well, happily have either
Yeah.
of them. Yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I think
Yeah, that play style
I
caught
think-
up with
I
his
think I'm
brother too.
taking
So
Browns.
your point's valid.
Yeah.
The
I think I'll-
injuries.
He's not elusive.
Just going on for the average age for this for 2024, Steelers were 26.8 and the Browns were 27.6. So Steelers are technically younger.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
That's
There you
interesting.
go. Just not at key positions.
Yeah.
No.
Because unfortunately, an average takes you 50, probably 60 players that have been
Sure,
on your
sure, sure.
roster, which doesn't help. But anyway, I'm taking the Browns, which surprised me because when I thought about it, I was like, I think I'd take the Browns.
Yeah.
As much as you have to then have to live in Cleveland, which always sucks.
Well,
Pittsburgh's a sunny Pittsburgh is much better, is it? Come on, bro.
Yeah, but if you want to be a
They're both cold as shit.
yeah,
can't-
if you want to be a steel farmer, and I'm a big steel guy, obviously, I want to be in Pittsburgh. You know,
You know what's interesting though? If you're a coach, you almost take Pittsburgh because you know you're good for 10 years.
At least.
As a GM, you're probably taking the Browns.
yes, that's fair. But what makes you think? Do you guys think the Steelers will be good next year?
Hmm.
Let's just say they have Rodgers. Let's just say now they've got Rodgers. You think they'll be good?
No, I think there's still an 8-win team.
I think so too. I think they could scrape into the 7 seed at best.
I think with Rodgers,
don't
they could-
think they're
they
making
could
the playoffs
potentially
next
win
year.
10 teams.
Yeah, no, I won't.
I
pick
think the
them for
AFC
playoffs.
West are going to have 2 to 3 teams, and yeah,
That's interesting.
the AFC West is, I would say, almost the Raiders will not win as many games as Pittsburgh, but
Be better.
well, no, not be better, but it would be they would be very good because of the schedule.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's going to be 3 teams in the AFC West in the playoffs or the playoff hunt at least.
Yeah.
I think with Rodgers and he's like playing at an okay level, they could scrape 9 or 10 wins. They
Yeah,
could
I think
scrape
so
9
too.
wins.
And then that could get him into the playoffs. But the
I
AFC
don't
is
know.
tough.
Do you think that they're going to beat Baltimore and
No, I
Pittsburgh?
would say
And
that's it. I would say 10 wins is their ceiling.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they
might
they're
beat
division
Baltimore. They
games,
might beat-
you
Well, and then
split
trading away Pickett, like I know they brought in Metcalf and then gave him all that money, and I like Metcalf as a player. I
Pickens.
think is it Pickens, sorry. Then they traded away Pickett a couple of years ago,
Yeah.
and the Super Bowl winning Pickett,
yeah,
Sure.
and then he actually won them the game.
yeah, that kneeling he did was
He-
funny.
He took the last snap.
Yeah, he took
That's
the
all that
last round.
matters.
It's credited to him.
Yeah, you're right, Brock. That's all that matters.
It's-
Yep,
it-
you're
Inch
right.
of a mile. Winning's winning.
I think the rule is it doesn't matter who's there first; it's who's there last.
Right.
I think that's the theory I have.
40 to 6, put our backups in.
All right, that's it. That's all my would you rathers. What do you reckon, boys? A couple of good ones in there.
I love that.
Yeah, it was really
I love
good.
That was great.
Yeah.
That was great fun. Thank
I'm
you.
glad I left
Thank
it
you,
as a
James.
surprise because saying them and seeing both your faces going, oh, yeah.
Ooh.
That's what I was playing for.
I was still watching. I'm still looking at the depth charts for both teams. I'm like, fuck me, they're actually not very talented teams. Really, both of them are really.
you take like. Do you know what I always
I'm
do
not
with
really-
depth charts? This is what I like to do with when I look at teams when I'm doing like predictions stuff like that.
Yeah.
I take their 3 best players on each team and take them away.
Yeah.
And then I look at the rest. So you
Hmm.
take Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, those sorts of guys, and you take them away, and then you go, all right, what's the team actually like? Because that gives you a better gauge of what the team talent actually is.
Yeah.
No, I think I'm picking Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh will have a better year this year for sure.
So you take Pittsburgh?
Yep.
Yep. All
They'll have a better year. They'll win more games,
Yeah,
guaranteed.
if what would you rather? I'd Pittsburgh are better this year, but they're prime for a huge drop off. Where I think in the key positions, the Browns are a little bit better.
Salary cap's a myth.
So cap is a myth. And quick shout out to my guy Jerry Judy. What an outstanding year last year for
He
him.
did under the
Yeah.
radar, absolutely.
And everyone's giving him shit. You got Steve Smith calling him a jag,
Not
all that
anymore.
sort of stuff. No,
Not
they
anymore.
backed off. He
yeah.
That was 2 years ago.
he put some money where his mouth is, and he played really well. Much
Well,
like
he's a
Brock a
first-round
couple of
draft
Mondays
pick.
ago.
You don't get
Hey-oh.
you what?
Like I said, he put his money where his mouth is, like Brock a couple of Mondays ago.
Yeah, he did. Big dog.
Yeah, he did, bro.
How do I get a stray in this? That's
That
going to
was,
be cut.
that was a straight
It's not a
compliment.
straight. That was a high five, bro.
All right, that is it for us this week. Next week we've got a bit of a. We're going to do teams that no one's talking about.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So if you barrack for a bit of an obscure team, we're going to get a few teams up that's just not getting any talk, anything on the radar,
Hit us up.
and do a bit of a
Minimal
breakdown.
buzz. Minimal buzz.
Yeah. So if you think your team, or you think of a team that is one of those teams that nobody's talking about, hit us with a message, and we'll
yes,
put them on the
please.
list for next week. We'll chat
Yeah,
about
we've
some
got
teams no one's
we've got
talking
a
about.
few-
Voice note,
But-
send us in a video. Hit us up. We want the fans involved.
Yeah, send us some video clips. I love some video clips. Play with clothes on.
No,
George.
shirtless. Optional.
If you got a better rig, if you got a better rig than George, let us know. Get us a video.
Come on. We've got to set
voice clip.
realistic expectations for the people, man. All right, come on. Seriously.
All right, that's it. Shout out to Brocky on the 1s and 2s tonight. Thank you, boys, for being here. Love your work. We'll see you next week, guys.
Peace.
Peace out. Peace out, everyone.
Peace out.
Thank you.
I hope the Eagles lose on a call.